just want to do a paper presentation, Superintendent Gee?
Just a paper.
Okay.
All right. We already know.
We're rolling.
Oh,
Not yet, we aren't quite yet.
We're not that part yet.
Oh, okay. I thought I might have walked in with something that wasn't ready.
We're still at the
We're
ready
about to
set.
start.
Roberta hasn't given the opening prayer.
I'm not giving the opening prayer.
We're still at ready
I
set.
want to pray, but somebody else is going to do it.
All right. Call this meeting to order. Thank you for joining us this evening. The time is 5:30 p.m. the evening of August 11th, 2025. I'd like to call to order the regular scheduled Planning and Zoning meeting for the City of Middleton. My name is Matthew Watkins, Planning and Zoning Chairman. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right.
And that's go.
Yep.
Ready, set.
And if I could, I'd have the clerk do a roll call.
Chairman Watkins,
Present.
Commissioner Waltmate,
Present.
Commissioner Gregory,
Here.
Commissioner Gibson,
Here.
Commissioner Turner.
All right. We have quorum. All right, we have a quorum. We may proceed. This is the time lawfully noticed for hearing scheduled for Planning and Zoning Commission for the City of Middleton. According to the posted agenda, we have confirmed we have a quorum present to hear the scheduled agenda. I'd like to briefly go over some testimony guidelines. We can just make sure that everybody has their electronic devices silenced so we don't have any cell phones ringing, all that fun stuff. If you need to talk, please keep it to a minimum. If you do need to talk, please step outside. Everything is recorded, so any chatter from the audience gets picked up and can foul our recording, which causes all kinds of issues down the road. If you're here to offer public testimony to any of the agenda items, please make sure you sign up with the sheets in the back. There will also be a designated time at the end of the meeting that is reserved for general public comments not related to any of tonight's agenda items. I'd like to make sure everybody has time to give their testimony during a lot of time for this meeting, so if anybody has stated anything, just kind of go over it. And basically we're just doing design reviews tonight, so we don't really have to worry too much about that. But we'd still like to go over it anyways. Alrighty, well if we can, with that, Madam Planner, I'll have you go ahead and get this going.
Thank you, Commissioners. We're going to do it a little bit differently, probably from here on out, because so we're going to always start with the applicant doing the presentation first, and then I'm just going to follow up at the end with conditions of recommended conditions of approval, so that and they would become part of your motion if you do approve it. So.
Action item 1, consent
Yeah,
agenda
yeah,
first.
yeah. We're going to before we kick off anything, and I apologize for that, we are going to go over action item 1, which is
Okay.
consent agenda. We're going to consider approving the minutes for the July 14th, 2025 regular meeting. You guys have anything? Nothing looked out of order to me. Very easy. All right, with that, we'll take a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move we approve consent agenda item 1A.
Second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Waltman, second by Commissioner Gregory. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. All right, with that, we'll move on to action item 2, design review application for the design review permit from Middleton School District 134 Tennis Dome and check-in building to be located at Middleton High School campus.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to hand these to each of the commissioners. And this shouldn't be anything new from what was in the packet. You've got, okay. From what was in the packet, just so that we're kind of rolling through the pages together. Commissioners, I appreciate the opportunity to share some thoughts with you regarding this design plan and the kind of what we're proposing to the Middleton School District. I kind of want to give a quick history of how we got here, just because it's a little bit different than what normally happens with our building projects within the school district. This project actually started with a donation. The city of Boise it's essentially a big dome that was designed for a tennis court facility that was given to them, and they didn't have a way to use it. They looked for a way, they didn't have a way, so they didn't want to, I mean, it's a pretty big, I mean, it's taking up a lot of space. So because they were going to use it, they looked to donated it to the College of Idaho with their tennis program led by Jen Swing. Jen Swing, who used to be a coach, tennis coach for Middleton School District. And College of Idaho said, we don't have any plans in the near future to create a space for this tennis dome. So they started looking for, well, is there a way that we could look at this? And that's how it kind of came to Middleton School District. Now, there are things, you look at donations as they come in as a school district and say, okay, great ideas, but does it fit? Does it work for us? Does it meet a need that we've identified? So that was the next step. Jen contacted us at the district. We started going through, okay, what is our need? What are we looking at? What kind of needs are there in the valley for indoor tennis? And we say that, the dome, and what it's really getting us is indoor tennis facilities. There are no indoor tennis facilities in Canyon County outside of onion sheds. There are a couple of onion sheds that I know have been converted, and during the season, kids go in and they play tennis in the onion shed. But besides that, there are 3 places in the Treasure Valley that you can play tennis indoors. The Boise State has domes similar to the domes that I'm talking about here today, and they call them bubbles often, but it's a air-filled dome. Eagle Tennis Club, which is called something new now, and then Boise Racket and Swim Club. Now, Eagle Tennis Club and Boise Racket and Swim Club are both private institutions, so there's a cost that goes with that. Those are the only indoor tennis facilities in the Treasure Valley. And we have a lot of students. Mr. Hollinger is our principal at Middleton High School. How many students do we have that participate in tennis? Roughly.
Upwards of 70 to 80.
70 to 80 students in our high school. And that's just the high school, not including what we got at the middle school that are participating in that sport. So if you've ever been driven by our tennis courts during tennis practice, filled with people. I mean, there's only so many courts. So you look at that, and there's certainly room for expansion. And we had been talking about expanding our tennis courts even before the donation, looking at ways that we could provide additional steps. We host tournaments up there, we host different things, but we've started looking at what that indoor facility would bring us. And it's inclement weather. It's when year-round practices. And I'm not talking that our sports teams practice year-round, but a tennis player who's looking to improve their craft, they're looking to get in regularly throughout the year, because if they let it drop throughout the year, then they are not as competitive when they get to the season. So I've got a employee that works in our office. Their student attends a different school but plays tennis. That student drives to Boise 2 days a week during the winter and pays to go in, and pays for the transportation, pays to get into the club, just to keep a regular practice schedule going for them. And these are just the student aspect. Tennis is one of those lifetime sports for a lot of folks. Tennis they'll play that all year, their whole lives, and they're always looking for places to play. In the summertime, there's plentiful, but in the wintertime, it gets a lot harder for them to find locations. And again, when you've got Eagle Tennis Club and Boise Racket and Swim Club that are private institutions, it's hard to justify the cost and driving over there. So we looked at that and said, we have a need to address. As we did that, we looked at how we could utilize the indoor facility, the tennis dome. And so we actually partnered with David Evans and Associates. We got some representatives, Jane Walker and Shane Schubert, thank you, here tonight, that they can answer some of the technical questions if you have any. But we asked them to help us put together how we could place this on our facility in a way that fits, because we know as part of the Middleton community, we don't want to just throw things out. We want to make sure it looks and fits and feels right within the community. And so we asked them to help us with that, what you see in that, and I'll maybe start going through a little bit of those. The layout, just on this first page, page 1 that's labeled at the bottom, is the layout of how we would propose this tennis dome to be placed. We have the existing 8 courts that are listed on the left there, and then the tennis bubble would house 5 courts. Those courts, obviously those aren't constructed. We would construct the court and then you can put the dome above it. Those courts would also we would be primarily tennis courts, but we're looking there's a way that you can put magnet when you lay the flooring, so that you can put a magnet pickleball line on there without it being something that has to be on there permanently. We're looking for ways to involve some of the national tennis organizations in our funding for this project, and they want it to be primarily tennis, and so we want to try and keep it as clear as we can. But those are some of the things that we're looking for. And then next to that facility, there's the blue rooftop, and we'll look at that here in a second. But that is the check-in facility, because this, essentially there's like a revolving door, and you're gonna go through that to get into play tennis, because we got to keep pressure going inside these kind of facilities. So we would have all the check-in, all the coordination of any events that are going on in that check-in facility, and then they would move from there into the dome itself. As you turn to page 2, you kind of see how this fits within the scope of the layout of the property there. The bottom part of page 2 is what you would see driving by on Emmett Road, to the north. You come by and see that dome, then there's the check-in facility there, and then all the rest of that is existing already. You can see on that picture there's some examples of what it looks like inside. I believe these are these Boise State.
Yeah.
So that's the
Little older facility.
tennis facility at Boise State. Page 3 has another layout there, proposed sewer lines. And I wanted to talk a little bit about proposed sewer line. When we started this, there really is not a requirement for us to put restroom facilities in there, because there are restroom facilities down at this other existing building that is there for the tennis courts and the soccer fields. We listed this sewer so that we could be thinking about that if we were going to expand to include water. If we were going to need water in there, we could do water station that's not hooked up. We have service that comes to the district for those. One thing on there, you can see the existing fire hydrant is further away than what we would be looking for. We would be needing to work with our local fire district to locate another fire hydrant there on our property. We actually believe we could do that along Emmett Road, but we wanted to make sure that it was clear that we were aware that fire hydrant was not where it's not close enough to the facility. In talking with Victor with the fire department, we'd actually talked about putting a gate in on the west end of that field so that the trucks would actually roll up there. That's kind of the location we'd be looking at for the hydrant, so the trucks could roll up there and go in through the gate, in the event that there was some kind of emergency that came through. But those are some of the things that we've been working through. Those details I don't know that we necessarily get into in this design review as we get into further engineering of it. And this number 4 gives a concrete slab detail, and then number 5 is an interior of the check-in facility. That's what we're looking pretty simple facility, not a lot. I mean, we're talking a gathering space and some offices, storage locations. So we look at this as an opportunity to provide a unique service both for our students and for our community. We look at this as being something that would provide not just for our students, but as our rec department, we've actually started working with Greater Middleton Parks and Rec to see how we could coordinate with them to provide some of the services when we're not using it for the school facilities. Another benefit to this facility is that in working with Jen Swing and the College of Idaho, if we were able to get that located, we could actually become the home court for the College of Idaho when they do home tennis tournaments, which those kind of things plus others that would be coming into our community to utilize the tennis facility would only help local businesses. You're bringing people that money from outside into the community, which would certainly prove to be a benefit. And the other thing that I wanted to make sure, I don't know how much it matters to this group in terms of design review, but this is something that would be done through donated funds. The building itself was donated, but the district it is not the intent of the district to put the funds up for this. This would all come through donations. At this time, we're working with, like I said, is that the USTA for some grants to go towards that. But we felt like we wanted to go through this design review process before we started making a big push for donations, because we wanted to make sure that we were all in good, kind of in the same mind frame of what this project could be, how it could work for the community, before we started going out there and saying, hey, this is something that we're trying to put together and would you be willing to donate to it? I think it also helps people see a vision for what it could be and how this could fit within our community. Let's see, Johnny, Jay, Shane, anything else? Any other piece that you think we need to include here?
Yeah, moving to our tennis for sure.
Yeah, there's just not many indoor facilities like you mentioned. Even Eagle Tennis Club is down right now and getting renovated, so there's very few options. And I know that some of our commissioners are big pickleball players, so they may ask how many pickleball courts this could translate to. But Commissioner Gibson, their big plan to be those indoor pickleball courts.
So with that, I guess I would turn over to questions that I can clarify. Obviously, you've been able to have the design materials with you and review, but if there's questions that I can clarify, some of those technical questions that maybe I can turn to our folks with, that would be, I certainly stand for that.
Hey, Mark, one other thing, I wanted to introduce Glenn. Glenn Walker is the architect on the project with ADP as well, has been very helpful on the structure
Gentlemen,
side.
for purpose of records, can you please come to the mic and state your
Oh,
name and address?
Yes.
Perfect. Let me step this out of here.
So, Jay Walker with DEA. Do you need my address? Okay, it's 11324 Purple Sage Road, Middleton, Idaho. So Glenn Walker, along with Mark's help, has been contracted to be the architect on the project, and a lot of neat, unique features and characteristics of a tennis bubble. But really excited. It's a newer bubble than what BSU currently has on their campus, and just a unique opportunity. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? And I apologize, I don't know the standard. Is it I stay here and answer questions, or would
Why don't you
like-
stay and answer? We're kind of doing a new thing tonight too,
Okay.
so we're all kind of,
Right.
Yeah.
I have a couple of questions, Chair. Is this open to the public then, the way I'm hearing this?
Correct. There would be now, as with any school facility, we kind of set a priority. You know, school students would get the first, you know, crack at the facility. So when there's school tennis practice going on, we wouldn't be scheduling community time for that. But there would absolutely be a community aspect to what we're providing. So we would be looking at for us, the two primary things we'd have to look at providing kind of a priority to is the school team, and then the college, if this goes through the College of Idaho, because they're the ones that are helping us get the bubble in the first place.
My next question is, revenue, does this generate revenue for the
This would-
school through the college?
This could generate revenue, but we have not really created a revenue plan
Right.
for that, because we're trying to build it as, you know, the school is going to have, the district's not going to pay for the erection of it, but once it's done, we are on the hook for the utilities, the upkeep, and all of that. And so the district is willing, and our board, we went before our school board, and they are ready to take on those costs. So we would be looking for ways to generate revenue, but similar to how we do things with the rental of our other facilities. Our policy is such that when it's a Middleton nonprofit organization, there's very little charge that we do for Middleton nonprofits. Middleton nonprofits, we might have them help us pay for the custodian that's gonna clean up after him, but that's the extent of it. If it's a Middleton for-profit or out-of-district for-profit, we would be looking at ways to generate funds with
Good.
those.
Would College of Idaho be paying a rental fee, or because they donated?
Because they donated it, we would be a share with that.
And as far as the structure itself, if BSU is a more aged facility, what is the prototype that's being used to design this?
Could I give the floor to our architect for that? Glenn? Yeah.
Glenn Walker, ADP Architects, 1831 East Overland Road. And I apologize, what was your question?
What prototype is being used to facilitate this design? If BSU is old, then what are you using to base this on?
Very similar. The dome is donated, obviously, so we're getting that dome that's already, it's already here. I mean, it's already, it's already a product. So we're just going to take what's being given to us and inflate it and make it a dome.
And we do have the plans for that. So the plans of the original dome, not necessarily all.
It is fairly similar to, we keep kind of talking about Boise State domes. It's just because it's very similar with the BSU domes.
And I see that it's 40 feet tall, but
Yeah.
the length of it?
I had it at one time, 296, correct? About 296 roughly, yeah. It's a pretty good sized structure.
Absolutely, no question.
And as I'm sure everyone knows, this is kind of our first step, but our second step would be then working with the fire department and the building department.
Absolutely.
So,
And we did have, when we went and did a visit with Boise State, we actually invited Victor to come along with us. So he was there while we were doing the tour, so we could ask those kind of questions that he would be thinking of as well. I don't want to speak for him as to what he saw. I just want to make sure that it was clear that he was part of that conversation.
Fantastic.
all right, thank you.
Mr. Chair, I have a quick question for Superintendent Gee. So a design review permit under the code only lasts 12 months. And it doesn't sound like it's possible that you'll go past that before you submit for your building permit, is that true?
It is possible, yes. So I would be submitting to the city of what process you would like us to go through to make sure that we keep things current. I don't know if it's an update, a review, just a whole resubmittal of the process.
Well,
we
don't
would
wanna
look for
do
any understanding with that as far as, since we're trying to get this with donated funds.
So what I'm thinking is, they have two other waivers, and I'll talk about the waivers for you, but we could do a third waiver. The code caps their permit at 12 months, but you can give them 24 months, 36 months, and give them that leeway to get their ducks in order if you want.
And I would say also, with any kind of waiver, if there were changes in code that we needed to make sure that we were getting, we wouldn't be trying to fudge out of those changes in code just because you've given a waiver. Because I believe the waiver, the intent is to try and give us time for the raising of the funds, not necessarily to escape some kind of new expectation.
Right. And then there's a couple of other waivers you have to talk about. It was in the staff report. The maximum height is 30 feet in that zone, and they have 40 feet. And then also for design review, they have to have 4 elements. So, and they don't. But the code allows waivers under certain circumstances. So you have to decide that tonight. And you'll need to make individual motions on those waivers too.
And if I could draw your attention to page 2 in terms of the height, just so that it's clear, in terms of the profile along that block, our high school stands at 37 feet 6 inches. So already above that 30 feet. So this would stand a bit above that, but I mean, probably not discernible from the road.
Gentlemen, I just need you to keep it quiet in the audience, please. Thank you.
So just so you're aware.
And before you do start and they're done, there are conditions of approval that I would recommend, and I'd like to read them into the record whenever you guys are ready for it. If you let me know.
Commission, any further questions for Superintendent Gate?
No.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time with me tonight, and certainly available for any other questions. We'll stick around here, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, there are not many, so if you do decide to approve this design review, staff is saying you'll need to approve the waiver for the 40-foot waiver for the 4 design elements. Also, there should be a condition of approval that they need to revise their photometric plan, and that shows how much light pollution there is around there, and there's neighborhoods around there. And so I've already emailed them, but no building permit issuance until they clean up their photometric plan to show that it won't cause a nuisance to the neighbors. Also, a condition that they comply with all city engineering, public works, building department, fire department, and planning department comments. A condition that landscaping cannot be irrigated with city metered water, only pressurized irrigation, which I assume is already on site because of the copious amounts of fields. All exterior lighting must be downlit and shielded. If there's any damage to the existing frontage along Emmett Road, city engineer might require them to repair that kind of damage, especially if they're changing things for gates and access for fire trucks. So they just need to know up front that could happen. Also, adding, this was not in the staff report, but I'm adding it now tonight on the record, is that the applicant prior to construction needs to attend a pre-construction meeting with the building department, city engineer, and planning staff prior to moving any dirt, doing any work. And the meetings can be separate, 1 or 2 different meetings or together. And those are, yes?
Can the 4 elements of design be met through the check-in building?
Well, the check-in building, there are 2 different buildings, so each one needs to have 4. The check-in building doesn't match either. It only has CMU and awnings, so it has 2 of the 4.
But it does match the current construction of the school.
But it sure does. It's very much in keeping with the harmony of the school.
Yeah.
And it's not a commercial building.
Sure. Well, moving our discussion with that, that's my first thought is, but I know it doesn't meet the 4 requirements, but it's matching what's there.
And it's not right downtown.
I don't see any reason to cause extra cost or extra burden for the project on that. And obviously in a affordable building, kind of tough to
Put some screws in it?
put some screws, get some stone, get some rock and all that. It's a little tough on a balloon. Commission, any comments, discussion?
I think it's a great idea.
How is that photometric situation going to be addressed? How is that going to be measured or?
Well, they can go ahead and submit a building permit, but even before that, they will revise their photometric plan and submit it to me and city engineer, and I'll look at it and talk with their engineers to make sure that the spillage is not bad, that they're not using big. And I almost think that most of the lighting's inside
The
of
only-
the dome.
Yeah,
So it could be
yeah.
zero.
The majority of the lighting is gonna be by the AC unit, exterior doorways, lighting on the sidewalk, which is what they currently have on the rest of the building anyway.
And the
And the-
check-in facility.
And the check-in facility, which is on the inside of the school district side anyways, it's on, next to the
We
school
just need
building.
proof of that, and the photometric plan that was submitted was not even over the dome. It was kind of off and centered, and I don't know what that was all about. So just give us a photometric plan that covers the dome area and the check-in building, and I think everything will be just fine. We'll just make sure we have it though.
Right.
So it's an opaque building. The reason I ask is I'm familiar with the one up in Santa Clara,
Yeah,
and that one's not opaque.
no, this is opaque.
Okay.
So it won't spill out, won't leak through the,
Yep.
I'm pretty familiar. I used to live years and years ago when I was young, not too far from the Boise State one, and there's, if it's similar to that, it's white. You get a little reflection during the daytime, but at night you don't see anything.
right, good. So you'll have 3 motions if you want to give them an extension on their permit. And, or actually 4 motions, 3 waivers
And
and,
the original.
Well, any further discussion? Are you guys ready to take a crack at her?
Mr. Chair, I'll make the first one. I move that we accept a waiver from the 12 months to the 24 month on the review permit.
I'll second that. All in favor on that?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we have unanimous for extending the waiver from 12 months to 24 months.
I move that we approve the waiver for height requirements from the standard to the 40 foot.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Waltman, second by Commissioner Gregory. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous on that.
I move we approve the waiver for design requirements 4 out of 5
for design elements.
for the design elements.
Yeah.
I'll second that. A motion by Waltman, second by Commissioner Watkins. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous on that.
Then I move that we approve the application for design review permit for Middleton School District, number 134, tennis dome and check-in building to be located on the Middleton High School campus with the conditions as mentioned in the staff report.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Commissioner Waltman, second by Commissioner Gregory. All in favor?
Aye.
Easy peasy.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys, appreciate you.
Good luck.
Yeah, and I've got to run to a school board meeting.
You can use this announcement.
That's right.
There you go.
Who's next up?
Two-story building.
All right, perfect. Moving on, we'll move to action item number 3, design review application for design review permit for a 2-story office building to be located at 120 West Main Street. We have the applicant here.
The applicant's here, and again, we'll just start with their presentation.
All right, we have your name and address for the record.
I'm Dennis Taggart, that's Taggart. I'm the architect for this project.
Jenica?
Address is 436 West Broadway Avenue, Meridian, Idaho, 83642.
Thanks. So that's your first slide, and they seem to be in order, went through like 20 or so.
Okay, and I'll keep it pretty straightforward. I'm sure you're all very familiar with the site. It's near here. It's obviously a pending something. It's not been developed for quite some time. As you can see, it does face to the bottom. This is Highway 44, your Main Street. That upper blue is a 16-foot wide alleyway. The house on the left is a business. The house on the right is a residence. All are zoned commercial. I've had discussions with the gentleman on the right-hand side, the east side, about what we have planned, and his current lawn is inside our property from the property corner, but we have landscaping along that side as well. So to the extent that we had to move his sprinklers or something like that, we would include that in our project. To the extent that we could leave him alone and still accommodate our side, we would certainly do that with a legal waiver, so that it's, you don't face something down the road. That's like it would. So that's what it looks like there, and that's another. And the interesting thing about this is that there's very little utilities. The sidewalk and existing driveways, we have a permit in place to replace those and replace the sidewalk. There's an interesting mix of things that are going up and down that little two-lot. The sidewalk was held back about a foot from the curb, back of curb, which is gravel, and then it's broken, and then there are two existing driveways. So we worked with ITD and have a permit to replace the sidewalk, remove the existing access driveways, and create a new driveway to accommodate our planned entrance into the project.
Next.
So this is what we're proposing. And I have the entrance at a 45-degree to soften the hard edge and to make it welcoming from the street, and depending on which way you're going, and from the entranceway into our parking lot. I'll get into the elevations in a minute, but as you can see, we have a covered porte-cochere entry for the stairs. This site is in the floodplain, and we have to raise the finished floor about 2 feet. And what we are proposing to do is the concrete foundation wall that sticks up gets a decorative treatment. I'm proposing, we haven't firmed it up with the owners yet, but I'm proposing something much like City of Meridian has done, where they're exposed, and they've taken it and looked like it's been dressed up and very clean and ordered. We also have considerable amount of landscaping, which should immediately soften, and over a period of a couple, 3 years, you've never seen much of that. You'll notice on the left-hand side behind the small tree, and please, this was illustrated by a company that I use that didn't have a landscape plan, or they made it perfect, but the concept is there.
There we go.
But behind there, you'll see there's a wall, and that's where our ADA access is, in order to get up to 2 feet that we have to raise the finished floor. Beyond that, we have the porte-cochere entry, as you can see, with steps coming up and down there. The lobby is a 2-story lobby, so the windows up above are into the open lobby space. We have a porte-cochere to cover the entry area and the steps, so in weather conditions we have some shelter. The top, we have a eyebrow to give some help with the tinted windows in that area. The cedar-looking color is metal that is commonly used these days for maintaining the wood look, and you have it in several, Jack in the Box and some of these other folks have done the same thing. We're proposing that to highlight the entryway, number one, and to soften the look. The rest of the building, we have done some design work, which we can get into a little bit more, but you'll notice that it's not just a straight building. We popped out a side. And my color scheme that I've used, and we'll talk a little bit more later, is that the ground level is a darkest shade of color, but still very light and fresh.
the bands that go around accent the floor level changes, but the second floor is of the same tones, but is a lighter tone as you go up. And that just lightens up the whole building so that even though it's only a two-story, we've tried to soften. Okay. And as you can see, we have parking and driveway access on the west side of the building here on the left. This is just a quick showing, this is the flat view from Main Street. The large window, rectangular window, is where our stairwell is, so that you can get some color, some movement and some color into the building. And then the high windows happen to be where the restrooms are, and so again we get some soften that wall and still get some light into the areas. Next one, please. This is the parking lot side, and you can see that a little bit more of the 45-degree there, and then you can see that we have stepped out from where the fall wood is, and then we've lightened that, and then the back is the exit stairway on the back side. And this is the east side next to the residence, and again it's quite clean, but we do have it dropped in to accent the color and everything, to soften that whole straight instead of a full flat. It's got some movement around. Next. And this is the alley view, and it's not very exciting. And we don't have windows because we're looking into the neighbors next door. So it's just kind of what it is. Aerial view shows kind of what we're talking about. Again, this was early, but we do have our ADA parking up near the front, direct access to the ramp into the building. We have parking, 2 layers, and we've gone to your specific size of parking and driveways, which is a bit larger than most other, but it's your ballgame. So we were able to accommodate that. We do have a landscape buffer on both sides here, and you can see that'll soften the parking lot concept into the buildings to the, particularly to the west. And I'm not sure how long, being zone commercial and with the growth, how long that building will be there, but we have some softened that. We also, it doesn't show well here, but again, this was done before we really had very much developed. But we do have parking at the alleyway. Parking. We have landscaping across the back at the alleyway, and we do have some trees, but they are those very cylindrical trees that are not. They don't go over 5 foot in diameter, and they'll go up 50 feet. So it will give some softness to that back alleyway.
Let's see, did I get it? Is that the last one?
Pardon me?
I'm trying to get it to move. Next slide.
Next
I know
slide.
there's.
And we don't have to look at every slide.
Oh, that's why. Now you move to PDF, so I need to bring them up and close them.
Okay, so this shows a floor plan, if you will, with our driveway here on the left. Okay. And the parking, again, you have your larger scale. We do recognize that if you have a sidewalk and someone's pulling in, they're going to reduce that sidewalk by 2 feet. So we have a 7-foot paved area along the side, so we maintain our 5-foot sidewalk with a 2-foot overhang. And the two of them together make a 21-foot in between, and we do have the larger driveway there, as you can see. We have shown access into the alley. On the left side, more thinking of emergency vehicles or service vehicles, if you will. Not so much that people wouldn't back out and go out the front. The backs behind the building, we do have 4 parking places there, and that would probably be for senior staff that don't leave in and out, but it does access only from the alleyway. We worked with Republic about the trash, and we have wheel bins, and we have, to the extent that in the future, if there needs to be more wheel bins because there are different kinds of tenants or something down the road, we can expand into that back area with additional wheel bins. Again, like I say, we talked to ITD about removing and upgrading all the driveways. And they had, by the way, is your driveway wider than most is still not wide enough for ITD or bigger than that, and it would be shoveled back down. I guess maybe one thing I should tell you is the square footage. I think it's around 4,700, I don't remember exactly what it is, on this new first floor, with another about 35 above it or something like that. It's about 300 square feet more than the original, because I'm doing construction documents now. I'm moving ahead, and to make it work as compared to sketching, if you will. We did, so let's go, keep going and see.
So here's a floor, there's an elevation, landscaping, what the floor plan?
Yeah, we could do that. So this is the two floors in construction document scale, if you will. And as you come in, you have the lobby, the stair on the right-hand side, U-turns up. Tucked in behind the stair, we have restrooms on both floors, men's and women. And we have a small, it's not a kitchen, but we have a refrigerator, a sink, and a microwave in that alcove as well. We are planning for, I'm not sure whether it's going to happen or not, but we're planning for an elevator in this space. Thinking more down the road than by the current user. Because the current user is going to take both floors. ADA access is not required as long as the function on the ground floor is the same as any other place.
Yeah.
So, but in the future, if he outgrows it or whatever, and you start turning it into a retail space, then we would have the plan there. Plan for the elevator. Here's our landscaping plan, and I won't get into it too much except to say that we like trees. And we also like shrubs. We have no lawn. This kind of landscaping is a set it and forget it, if you will, trimming and that sort of thing. But it's becomes lush very quickly and grows well. I've done a number of projects, in particular some Dennis Dillon projects where you need the landscaping because it's required, but you have to be careful about what you have is appropriate. So we've got screening scale like across the alley here, and we have lower stuff where the cars are overhanging the park. As you can see, we've encircled the whole area, and you can see on the right-hand side, the east side, we have a service sidewalk that goes up to potential the fire riser room and the elevator equipment and that sort of thing. But we still have at least 3 feet along that sidewalk and a 10-foot setback of the building to the property line. The 10-foot setback to the property line means we don't have to have fire protected on that side, so we can have those windows, which makes it much better. The nice part is the neighbor gets 10 feet of landscape space, and as do we.
And you had a whole bunch here.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Let's just show one of the elevations, if you would, and where I have some dimensions.
Yeah, the rest are ITD permit documents. And
Yeah,
things
that's
like
just, this case you were asking, I had it to show. But as you can see here, Roberta's made the comment that it's a 30-foot high building. It's still a 30-foot high building, but we had to raise the building up 2 feet. So it's really 32 feet off the sidewalk rather than 30. And then the back elevator, clear at the far back, is another 6 feet. Still, add them all together, we're well within the maximum height of 50 feet, right?
You're 55 feet.
55
You're a
feet.
different zone than the last application, so
Yes.
55 is max.
So we're well below that, and we're not hurting ourselves. And I think it will not be a sore thumb sticking up. It's not. It's more in line with some of the other buildings, which we think are sort of prettier, but I'm the architect, so what can I say?
A little biased.
I don't think we need to really go into the other things. It was more documentary. If there was questions to be had, maybe I have the answer. So, do you have any questions?
I had a question regarding the east side landscaping and that neighbor. Is it trees? Is it shrubs? What is it to
On
on the east side between you
the
and
east
the
side,
neighbor?
yes, it's both. We have shrubs and we do have some trees. Yeah, you can see that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, I have 5 trees. One of them's a smaller one, but the ones down next to the building are those narrow that we use a lot. And there's about 3 or 4 different kinds of species that we use. And then you'll see the larger one in the back corner there. That's more of a normal, but it's not one of those normals like I have in my front yard that's now 60 feet across.
Yeah.
You know.
So when you were dealing with the neighbor regarding the driveway and the easement and all that, did you show him this? Is this something that he's,
Yes, I have given him drawings along the way, but
okay, he's totally okay with it?
he's okay, yeah. And we were out there and he was working and looking as people do, and so I made a point to visit with him. And he's former ITD guy, so.
Okay. That's the only question I had. Thank you.
Any other questions, Commission?
I need to add, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
I need to add the conditions of approval though.
Yes.
Let me pull my staff report up. 120 West Main.
Okay. Should I address the irrigation issue for landscaping? Or are you,
It was in my staff report that you're going to have to do pressurized irrigation.
well, there isn't pressurized irrigation anywhere near us, and we both have met with the ditch company, and at one point, there was a lateral that came down from the far east down across, and it was abandoned more than a decade, maybe 2 decades ago, and there's nothing left. And it was a problem for the ditch company to try to maintain it, and no one liked it, but that's not the problem. They really didn't like it because it brings weeds. But we have talked to them, and they have pressure irrigation on the next street over, but they don't want to bring it to us, and it's a hardship. Their suggestion was to try to buy a right-of-way from the people that face and come down along their side, but no one's interested in giving up land to provide irrigation. So we do have an issue there. While there is pressure irrigation, and it's unfortunately way down to the west, back up, find a way to tie into their existing ditch system, or go back to the east, which is even further, and back up to a irrigation box that they have. And that's just a horrendous expense to bring up public service like that.
So
That's not an appropriate though decision for this board. It's actually
No.
a city engineer issue.
Right.
Matt Planet's Middleton Mill.
I think it's Middleton Mill. Yeah,
I'm
it
sorry.
is. It's Middleton Mill.
Middleton Mill area.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And city does not allow commercial to hook up to city metered water for irrigation. So There will have to be a solution. That shouldn't stop you from moving forward with the permit. That just means that building permit or prior to building permit, you're gonna have to find some kind of solution. It might even be a shallow well. Jack in the Box is on a shallow well because it also couldn't connect up to your pressurized irrigation. It might require you to explore your neighbors a little bit more.
They're all using city water.
And that is just so wrong. And
Yeah,
it has been a problem for a long time, and so
Yes,
city
it's-
is just absolute curtains on that.
Yeah, it's, I do know that water table is only about 8 feet. Because our engineer ran a geotech, so, because suggested that we try to use our stormwater or snow melt or whatever into a shallow area. And there wasn't enough area for that much building roof and that much parking. So we ran a geotech and found that there is water down there, and he does feel that he can do a shallow system there.
I think it's an issue we can deal with later on. There's always, we put a man on the moon. I think
There's going to be a lot of infill projects along the street as we continue to progress as a city that have the same issue. And it is something the city engineer is going to have to work on as
Right.
well with those business owners and the other people who want to develop business along our new corridor, right, as it sits as a commercial. And our requirement is you use it pressurized irrigation, so that's kind of puts a burden on both sides. We got to figure it out and how we can help you and how you can help us, and then we'll get it figured out.
Yeah, we did ask, would they extend it, and it was too hard to maintain, and no one wanted to use it, so.
Well, and just like Commissioner Waltman said, just like Madam Planner said, there's solutions like shallow well. Like I said, the water table is really high there. It's an easy tap. It's something that can be added in. It's not an impossible task. Like I said, we obviously want to try to get on PI as much as possible, working with the. It's that fun thing going from, like I said, Middleton's one of those unique cities that has about umpteen different irrigation districts running through.
Right,
And-
one block over to the
yeah.
other guy, and that guy doesn't want to work with that guy.
Canyon, Middleton, Mill, farmers,
Yeah.
running down. It's Black Canyon. It's the whole thing. But yeah, there's solutions.
I just want to make sure that, yes, there are solutions, but I wouldn't want to see that this project ends up with no landscaping because none of those solutions panned out for you. Because I think that that's a big deal. You many times talk about softening of that design, and especially the way that's sitting on Main Street, and it's a new building. So without that landscape, it would be a completely different look. So that is my biggest concern, that there be something that would maintain that landscaping feature without, causing you to spend millions of dollars more.
it needs landscaping, and so it might even be wise to put that in your motion. There will be landscaping of some sort.
Well, it's
We'll
mentioned in
just
the
have to
staff
figure
report
out how
already
to-
that they have to have pressurized irrigation.
Well, we'll just have to figure it out. I mean, we run into problems like this quite a bit, and we just sometimes figure it out. But it'll be at building permit, and city engineer needs to be involved.
Yep, city engineer needs to be involved. It's a flood zone, it's an infill project, like there's lots of nuances.
It's
to
got
this.
some warts, but we just work through them because we all want good development.
Absolutely.
Who's the current tenant? Who's the current user?
I'm sorry,
Who is the current user?
the current what?
User of that building?
Yeah, Best Life is what it's called, and it's a call service.
Okay.
And it's very lightly occupied except for training times. A lot of the people that are involved are remote.
Commissioner, anything else?
I don't have any other questions.
You want to
Let
read?
me read the conditions of approval, and I'm going to change the one on landscaping and get that on the record.
That'd be great.
And that will help you with your motion. So these are recommended conditions of approval. Applicant to complete a pre-construction meeting with building official, planning staff, and city engineer. Floodplain permit must be approved by the city floodplain administrator, and applicant must comply with all conditions of the floodplain permit. Applicant to apply with all provisions of the approach permit or access permit from ITD, including the frontage improvements and a new 5-foot wide sidewalk. Utility design and stormwater facility design need to be approved and worked over with the city engineer and building permit, building official actually. So applicant must install landscaping and must work with city engineer for a solution on irrigation.
Perfect.
So landscaping is required, but work with city engineer on getting her done. I have to write myself a note on that too. Applicant to comply with all engineering, building department, planning, fire department, and public works comments. Applicant to comply with all requirements of the Middleton Mill Ditch Company as applicable. All exterior lighting must be downlit. All parking stalls dimensions to be 9 by 21, and landscape must be installed per the approved plan.
What about the 4 design elements?
They're there.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because I see the wood/metal, so that gives the illusion of wood.
We have the overhang stuck
The
over
overhang,
The overhang.
stucco, and then stone.
There's no stone on this. What they have is, how did I write that? I wrote, so they have a multicolored stucco, but they actually have a pattern inlay stucco. You can't see it, but it's got these geometric panels. So it's a separate type of stucco panel from regular plain old stucco. So
Right.
that's 2 elements right there. And then they have the faux wood paneling. The arched canopies and the metallic finish are quite a design feature. But 5, they have significant modulation and pop-outs and very wide banding. So they've added a lot of detail moving this way and pop-outs. So I got them at 5.
Yeah, and this takeoff right here, and I noticed because Commissioner Gibson, your eyes a little hard to see, but then like with the variance of the coloring too on the stucco, they're going, it's not just a flat
So
color.
I see that it's
multiple. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like the
absolutely.
panel stucco. Paul.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of different colors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that makes it nice.
colors and shade, depth, you know.
Commissioner, any other further questions for applicant or Madam Planner?
No.
No questions.
Questions? All right, with that, we'll stand for a motion. Anybody?
So that it would be just subject to the conditions, recommended conditions during the presentation. Just say that, and that'll capture that.
Sure. I move that we approve the application for design review permit for the 2-story office building to be located at 120 West Main Street with the conditions
Set forth in the presentation.
set forth in the presentation.
I second.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Gregory, a second by Commissioner Gibson. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous on that.
Thank you all very much.
You bet.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate
It's
it.
been
Good
great
luck.
working so far with this.
All righty. Moving right along, we'll move to action item 4, design review application for design review permit for NAPA Auto Parts Retail and Distribution Building to be located at 879 Bozick Street. And we have an applicant here. Right, let's get your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Eric Middleton. We're located, I'm with Hillside Architecture. We're located at 345 Bob White Court in Boise. And thanks for having us. So this is for a Napa Auto Parts. The location here is 879 Bozick Street, right over here behind the Dairy Queen here. So it's not right on the main street, but you'd be able to see it from behind the Dairy Queen if you kind of know what you're looking for. So the zoning is a light industrial M1, and this use is allowed. The facility would be pretty typical of your a standard Napa Auto Parts where you have a customer-facing retail storefront with a parts warehouse where clients would, or customers would be able to kind of shop, and then a larger distribution area behind the front counter. The number of employees is anticipated to be a maximum of 4 right now.
Next.
Okay, so next one. So here is our site plan. And by the way, I only have 4 slides, so nothing, just so you know what to expect. But
I like
nothing should be very different. We made a couple of adjustments based on some feedback, but everything should be really similar to what hopefully you've seen. But the site area, it's 1.45 acres. The building area is about just over 6,000 square feet, 1 story. We have allotted 26 parking spaces and 21 is required. 2 ADA parking spaces and 2 is required. The parking space dimensions are set at 9 by 21 feet, and that is changed from what we originally submitted. And the drive aisles right now are right at 24 feet. I think that might have been expanded a little bit. But the setbacks, we meet all the setbacks, and I just kind of have those listed here for reference. Okay, and then just a couple of things to note. The Dairy Queen is just to the north again of that, and then you can see the trash enclosure. That was something that I'll talk again about. That Republic asked us to add that little hammerhead there at the bottom for turnaround. Okay, next one. Okay, so this is what it will look like. Pretty standard of your typical Napa Auto Parts store. The height is set at 21 feet, if I remember correctly. 26 feet at the highest point right there. We do have the 4 design elements, the Napa blue on the top, a gray metal siding that you can see, and then 2 different typefaces of CMU, a smooth face and then a split face CMU that you can kind of see right there. The rear of this building and the south side are the ones without the windows, and those kind of face some of the neighborhoods, so you don't have that issue going on. But then the front is that bottom right, and so that's what you'll see when you're driving up. And then from behind the Dairy Queen, that lower left is what you'd see. Okay. Landscape plan. It's kind of hard to see on these slides. There are quite a few easements on the kind of on the right or the east and south side. Couple of things to note: we do have pressurized irrigation, so that's not an issue here. And that was actually we put that cloud because we wanted to make sure that was noted. And then there was one other one. There is a portion of this site on the west side that is not going to be developed yet, and we're going to do a native seed mix on that, so it's not just dirt.
So if I could interrupt, so this landscape plan should not be approved. I've asked Will at Stack Rock, or I've asked you guys to upgrade this. City code will not allow a commercial lot to have anything like gravel or dirt. It has to have a hardscape, it has to have a building, or it has to have irrigated landscape. So they can't just let this sit out there. They have to put on some kind of landscaping, like unmown grass, something like that. So this landscape plan will be updated, or at least, and it's in my conditions of approval, but we need to make sure that this isn't getting approved as is.
Okay, so Will actually sent me this, and what he has there on the cloud.
He just said they were going to seed it.
One was
Oh, is it on there?
Yeah, he called out a native seed mix.
I'm only seeing future tenant, so that's what was bothering me.
Oh,
but it's over here on the left.
That's right. It's really hard to see. So
It's probably down.
you can
It's
see a
right
little
there,
cloud.
off on your on your legend.
So the legend is taking care of it?
Yeah, see it right there, Dave, see it
Yeah,
next.
it's hard to see.
So they've got
There it
all-
is, there it
yeah,
is,
there it
okay.
is, yeah.
Okay, I'm okay.
Cool. All right. The next slide, I just wanted to show what the trash enclosure would look like. The CMU around the outside is set up to match the building.
Nice.
So,
Cool.
I can confirm you want to do some kind of CMU or brickwork on your trash enclosure,
yeah. Okay.
because they will throw rocks and break all your vinyl.
Right. True.
Yeah, so that was my slides. I just wanted to end it with some of the conditions of approval and have a discussion on that.
Looks like you covered most of those things. I do need to add conditions of approval for
Yeah,
any
yeah.
motion too.
And I'm sure I did notice on there, and I looked in, it looks like the setbacks lined up and everything, but you've got your easement lined up with Canyon County Irrigation District, Canyon County Water Company on the ditch easement there and everything.
Yes, our
Okay.
civil engineer is working closely with those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's significant irrigation on both the east and the south
Yeah.
side.
Yep.
So they will have to have licenses to do anything.
Oh, yeah, and I saw it noted in there, I always just like double check, just because it's in paper, I always like to ask.
Yeah.
Saves a lot of headache down the road. Perfect. Commission, any questions for applicant?
Nope.
Madam Planner?
Yep, let me just see what my conditions were. If you do approve it, I recommend the following. Applicant, change the parking stalls, so we're good there. Applicant to provide written proof that Republic Services has approved the design, so that can come to me before building permit. Applicants must landscape the area deemed future development, and it would appear they're on the right track. Building permit may not be issued until applicant has provided the city with an executed copy of the Canyon County Water Company license, allowing them to put any kind of infrastructure or landscaping in the easement areas. So they can go ahead and put in their building permits, and we'll start working on them so they don't lose time. But we will not issue the actual building permit till I see that license. Applicant to complete a pre-construction meeting with building official, planning staff, and city engineer. Applicant to keep working with city engineer on utility design, stormwater design. City metered water may not be used for landscaping. That's not going to be a problem here. Applicant to comply with all engineering, building department, planning, fire department, and public works comments. And also any comments with Canyon County Water Company. All exterior lighting must be downlit, and landscape must be installed per the approved landscape plan shown tonight.
Commission, any further questions from Madam Planner?
No questions.
Perfect. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll make a motion. We approve the design review application for design review permit for NAPA Auto Parts Retail and Distribution Building to be located at 879 Bozick Street with the recommendations and conditions set forth by staff.
Second.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Watkins, second by Commissioner Waltemate. All in favor?
Aye.
Eyes down the road tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. And with that, we've got all of our action items taken care of. We'll move on to public comments. Do we have a sign-up sheet here? Take a look. All right, well, we'll move on. We'll open public comment at 6:44 PM. Mr. Tremble.
Greetings, everyone.
Greetings.
I wanted to do this after one of my last meetings, but due to timing and circumstances, I am free to do other things now. But I want to come up and say thanks to the mayor and city staff and commissioners here for having me on board for the last couple of years. It's been fun, very educational, some things about state law that really aggravate me, but, you know, we'll work through it.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
You've
thank
been
you.
a real pleasure to work with and very, very, very helpful.
Thanks.
I appreciated you being here. It was very odd to see you in the back of the room this time.
Yes, it was.
Did we find a new place to sit? Well, I was supposed to.
No, I personally, I want to thank you for the time you spent on the commission and everything you've done. It's been a pleasure working with you, you know, and I've learned a lot along with you. I think we all have kind of coming through. We all kind of come into this and we learn on the fly and kind of go. So I wish we had you a little longer, but appreciate you being here and appreciate everything you've done.
Well, you can keep my name tag for next time.
Okay.
You can have it. Okay, next time. Okay, we'll save it. We'll save it.
Keep it in your drawer, best drawer.
All right, thank you. All right, next we've got Mr. Grafe.
Mike Grafe, 1889 Ridgeway. In regards to the meeting on August 11th, I didn't even know, in regards to the meeting in July, I think it was, Commissioner Gibson inquired about Mayor Hutchins' goal to change design review standards to a more traditional style. And I'm an old guy. What does traditional style mean? In one respect, and then Ms. Stewart replied that the mayor has not asked her to make any such changes to the code yet. And I wouldn't have put yet on the end of that sentence because it implies that it's coming or whatever. And it just, I've been going to these meetings for about 11, almost 12 years, and some of the things that happened previously, it just raises some real concerns on me because sometimes some of this stuff gets slipped in not according to the way it should be done. Anyway, I don't know, what's traditional style?
So I can't speak for the mayor, obviously, but discussions, open discussion, multiple times on what the idea of downtown should look like, right? Is more what that topic was. It had been mentioned that we wanted the more historical look, like a historical downtown, to create a more historical district area for downtown, looking more like, I don't know how to put that. So the older style buildings, and to keep that motif all throughout the buildings that are developed downtown. It's an idea. Is it realistic? It could be, but then we would be forcing businesses to do things outside their scope, like Nampa Auto Parts saying, you can't look like Nampa Auto Parts. You have to look like a building from 1876 to keep the motif of the downtown. Right? And that was more the theme, was having an older looking historical district, new buildings, but with that design. And it was more of a discussion, not a requisite that was going to be placed on the city.
All right. And that's another thing there. And again, not just speaking from discussions and this and everything, but that's where they've kind of come through with like the design elements now. They've got that, we've got to have to meet the design elements. Because like I know another, I wouldn't say concern, but I know nobody particular, but I've heard murmurs and everything. I joke around, we call it Toontown at the east end of Star.
Yep, everybody knows it. Everybody calls it
Yeah, you
Toontown.
walk down there and you got the development on the east end of Star going out by Plummer Road there that kind of looks like an Old West movie set. Nothing wrong with it. But as you come into Star and you drive past that, then you come into everything else and you go,
It just doesn't fit.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, if
just
you were
trying
to
to-
build it'd be different if you did a business park that had one theme in a business area, right? So if you did a business subdivision, I know they're called subs, everyone thinks of housing when you say subdivision, but a business subdivision, if you did a single architectural look, then you could do that, but you can't do that all through our business district, saying from Hartley to whatever street, we want all to look the same.
Well, see, the only thing, and what my concern is like the Napa building, Napa's got a name.
Yeah.
I mean, the heck with Middleton, Napa's got a nationwide name, and they've got a nationwide
Right.
looking building.
Right.
And that type of stuff is coming. And I've never been opposed to change, but sometimes you can't force things to be like they used to be, because used to, when you get older, used is a big word.
Exactly.
But time has come and gone for some of that stuff, and it's a new, I think that Napa building looks really sharp,
It
and that
does.
second building looks really sharp.
Right.
I mean, that to me is gonna really enhance some of the stuff. And the old, if I'm in the right place, there's an old house that they repainted and all that, and there's storage sheds to the west of it. I don't know,
Yeah.
is that, yeah, right in there. That is what I would say, you got something that existing, rather than tear that down and put a new structure. What they did there, I think, is remarkable.
It did
Yeah,
make
and
us
I
a lot
think-
better.
Refixed
Yeah,
it.
and I think
Yeah.
the building this developer's talking about, the two-story building, that's where that's going, is next to
Yeah.
it, right?
Right.
I think that plays right in. I don't know, maybe I'm,
No, you're right.
No,
And
you're
that's
right.
what I'm
It
saying. Like,
does.
it was a discussion, like an open topic that we talked about, and it was in. We actually did it more than one time in a public forum. We've talked about like what downtown should look
What
like.
we'd like to see it look
And
like.
some people wanted it to look more historical and have the older model, facades, and have it's unrealistic to try to hold the whole town accountable to that when you want to bring business in that has like Napa. Napa is, right, you know what a Napa Auto Parts looks like. You can see it
Just
from the
by the
freeway.
colors, yeah.
Right? You see it out of the corner of your eye and you know it's a Napa because that's Napa.
you know, when Barb and I are traveling anywhere, and we're hungry and we're in somewhat of a hurry, you know what I look for?
A big McDonald's arch.
Golden
I look
arches.
for the golden arches. That's
Yep.
exactly what I look for.
golden arches.
That's their trademark.
Yeah,
And Napa, the Napa blue is
Right.
their trademark.
right. So you
Exactly.
can't handcuff businesses.
No, you can't, or
To-
you're gonna lose
Yeah.
some really good
Right.
businesses coming
Yeah.
to town.
Yeah, we actually discussed that in the meeting too. We kind of said that the city of Eagle tried to do that for a long time, and they caught, city of Eagle was dead for a long time downtown, and that's what they tried to
It
do.
didn't work
Really
for 'em.
lock themselves in too deep, and they can't have this, you can't have your signage up, it's gotta be this,
Yeah.
this, and this, and they finally had to,
Now, a couple years
Lighten up
ago,
a
we
little.
did change that,
Yeah.
and thanks to her help as well, adding the design review, it was only 2 or 3 aspects you had to
We
meet.
added more.
And we
Added 2.
got that changed to saying you have to meet at least
Yeah.
4 of the design reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And I'm not picking on you. In fact, I thought yours was a very good question.
It was.
Yes, it was. And it spurred my brain, which is hard to do anymore.
There you go.
thank
Thanks,
you,
Mike.
Mike. Is there anybody else that'd like to add anything on public comment? All right, well, with that, we'll close public comment at 6:53 PM. Commission, staff comments,
None?
anything?
I have one, and this has nothing to do with design review. It might be in codes. We all know that construction companies will work whenever they can because of our seasons, and when it's warm out, they want to have their crews out there ASAP. But is there any way we can put a moratorium or prohibit commercial, residential development building on specific holidays? Because I remember this last year, Christmas. Boom, 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 beep, 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 beep.
Wow.
And I don't know.
Holy cow,
you know,
really?
So that's a code enforcement, and I'm just not terribly familiar with it, but I think we have times and stuff like that in our code already. It's a question of enforcement.
And now
We
have
do
code
have a
enforcement.
new code enforcement officer.
Right.
And so I think we can tighten up those things. There's a code enforcement complaint form online on our website, overview page under the government tab. You just fill it out, sign it, it goes straight to our new code enforcement officer, and they get right on it.
You could probably ask him about that, and I think we did a long time ago. I'm trying to remember when. It's been a
That's what I
few
was thinking
years. We
too.
did ask about that, and I think the response we got was city code has a noise ordinance, and that's the only thing they can
That's
actually
about the only
enforce.
thing they had.
Noise
Yeah,
ordinance.
like working from 7 a.m.
Yeah.
to sundown or something like that. I don't know what it
Like
is.
10 or
So,
11.
but if there is a code that talks about, doing construction on holidays, I like Christmas and Halloween, so I'm really loud on Halloween. Don't be upset.
That's okay, it's
I know,
Halloween.
I'd be interested to see that kind of like. 'cause
If
that's
there
one
is a
thing-
code.
If there is one, because like I said, I'm a lot more familiar with the Ada County stuff, just from
It
my
might even
business.
be in our supplement. I've seen it. I just don't remember the details.
Kind of general rule of thumb for most places, especially like I said in Ada County, is 8 a.m. for residential.
No, ours starts at 5:45.
Yeah, that's
Say
early.
so does
8
too
a.m.
down
8
here.
a.m. is pretty standard in Ada County, 8 a.m. and then
Yeah.
it goes, like in summertime.
I think
they'll
it's
kick it to,
7 here.
Yeah, they'll kick it to like 7 or 8 at night, just with working with the sunlight and everything, and then most holidays they do like, not every holiday, but not like every government holiday, but they usually have a list on like Christmas, Thanksgiving, that, because I know that, because I've got my guys even
Right. Send your
on
employees
calls
home.
and
Don't
stuff,
want
they're like,
So how do we look into that?
Well, I would start with making a complaint when it happens. Our code enforcement officer is Johnny on the spot, and she will actually know that code like the back of her hand. She should know it. And if it's proving to be a problem, like our code isn't stringent enough, that's when it rises to the level of me or city administrator bringing an amendment to the code. No one's complaining right now that we're hearing.
Right.
But once we start hearing, then we go, oh, maybe
Wait a
we
minute.
need to tighten this a little, and then we just bring a code. That kind of code will go straight to city council. It won't come to you, because it's not in the subdivision or planning and zoning. So,
But still.
and so it can be done like that.
Okay.
But
Maybe
you gotta
people
rise
don't
it
know
to
they
the top.
can't Either, that they could complain about, because this is the code.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's mostly
So
a situation
education
of
is-
awareness,
yes.
right? Because I think since the construction happens so almost around the clock, and they continue, that the residents feel that it must be allowed, because otherwise why would they be doing it?
And maybe there have been complaints that I'm just not aware of, because Billy Bebo has been handling it for the last few years, and then Olivia, and I don't know her last name. What's her name, Jenica? She was a police officer, and now she's our code enforcement officer. So,
I don't remember her last name.
so she's O'Brien.
O'Brien. She was.
Somebody said like the potatoes.
She wasn't. I didn't think she was.
She's doing both.
Well,
She's
she's the code
she's.
enforcer, but she wasn't a police officer.
Oh, I always thought she was. Oh, okay, yeah. So she works part-time in records in the police department, which is great, and then part-time code enforcement. So we're now, in the past, we've been so just reactive, unfortunately, because we
Right.
don't have manpower, woman power.
Sure.
But now I think she could be way more proactive.
So be proactive directly with the builders prior to,
Yep,
yeah, okay.
yeah.
All right.
She's catching things before somebody complains.
Okay,
I'm actually seeing it even. It's only been a few weeks.
Wow,
perfect,
nice.
thank you.
take it. Anything else? All right, well, with that, we will adjourn this meeting at 6:58 p.m.
Thank you.
Think Professor done?